I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This one's going to be Gilbert Burns taking on Sean Brady in the main event. And as always, before we get into making picks, doing breakdowns, all that good stuff, we look at my bets from last week, and we also look at my bets on the contender. So guys, looking at every single bet that I've made since my last breakdown, Edmund Shabazian with Valentin, that one was dust. That was dust. Edmund gets a knockdown. Edmund's dusting up GM3, and then, you know, there's no words. There's no words. Hey, Edmund, how about PFL? How about try go for the milli? Because, you know, this UFC thing, hey, Edmund, man, go for the milli. Go for the milli. Now, I had Berkamov, which was a PFL, with Santos. That was a nice parlay. Then I had Ricci, straight up, which, you know, that fight was close. That fight was very close. Then I had Bazooka, which, that was a split decision at plus 150. But should it have been a split? Probably not. And same with James Yuntop, plus 200, split decision. But it's not a split. That's a clear win for Slava. Then I had Kong with inside the distance, with Cavalcanti, decision. So double women's mixed martial arts parlay, and it smacked. That was nice. Then with contender, Wellmaker and Tulio, that was a nice parlay. And Bogdan Grad at plus money. Guys, that fight was close. I think Bogdan lost. But to make up for Bazooka and Yuntop split decision losses that were losses, you know, they kind of gave me that one. Then with week 4 last night, that's my first loss on the contender. I've been doing really good on the contender, but last night, week 4, it was crazy. Last night was crazy. My goodness. Now guys, we're not going to do Money City for this card because we've had a week off. So we're going to start the Money City train starting from now. Let's go. Now guys, first matchup on the card, we've got Zygimantas Ramaska taking on Nathan Fletcher. And this fight was scheduled to take place on Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Bahelio. But it's been rescheduled. And that's because Nathan Fletcher, he had a medical injury. And it's also a matchup that I didn't break down on the last card. So I'm going to break it down. Now Zygimantas Ramaska. Guys, this guy throws like he's really trying to hurt the opponent. This guy throws like he's really trying to starch the opponent, like he's trying to dust the opponent. You know, 100% power. When he throws, you know what I'm saying, he's really throwing. Now on the flip side, you've got Nathan Fletcher. This guy's more about grappling, more about jiu-jitsu. And he actually fought someone from a gym close to me. And he done well in that fight. He done very well. He was able to grapple, able to take the back, able to find a submission. So yeah, Nathan Fletcher, man, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, the grappling, a lot of experience on the UK scene. But like I say, if this fight stays on the feet, Zygimantas Ramaska, this guy's going to throw down. And if he's able to catch the chin of Nathan Fletcher, he could potentially find a stoppage. You know, big power on the feet. So the first prediction, I'm going to side against Nathan Fletcher. I'm going to side with Zygimantas Ramaska. Now moving into a matchup between Andre Petroski taking on who we got, Dylan Budka. And guys, this is going to be your classic grappler versus grappler, wrestler versus wrestler. So, you know, picking who's the better grappler, picking who's the better wrestler, that's going to be a smart thing to do. And you're looking at Petroski. This guy's a black belt in BJJ. This guy's got excellent wrestling. You're seeing against Josh Fremd in his most recent fight. You know, the takedowns, they were so easy. Round in, round out. Getting the takedowns. Not only getting the takedowns, but once he gets them, secures them. Because, guys, let's say you get a takedown, right? And then the opponent just instantly gets back to the feet, instantly avoids the mat. Then it's just, you know, it's wasted energy. We're getting takedowns for no reason. But that's not the case for Andre Petroski. Once he got Josh Fremd to the mat, he secures the takedown. Look at the grappling control on the mat. You know, he's a good grappler, a black belt in BJJ, an excellent wrestler, and good experience. You know, 8 fights in the UFC. This is going to be his 9th. Now, Dylan Budka, on the flip side, this guy's a wrestler, he's a grappler, but you're looking at his UFC debut. What was that? You know, he's able to find some nice grappling control against the fence, but not much more. You know, not much more. He's not able to find damage against the fence. Wasn't able to bring the opponent to the mat from the fence. It's just grappling control against the fence. And eventually, he gets TKO'd, he gets knocked out. So yeah, guys, it seems like a mirror match where Andre Petroski, he's kind of proven. You know, he's proven his skills. He's proven his grappling, proven his wrestling. So yeah, the pick is going to be Andre Petroski. Now, guys, moving into a matchup here between Jaqueline Amorim taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. And this one's going to be interesting. Very interesting because, guys, when you look at the betting line for this matchup, you've got Jaqueline Amorim as a massive favourite. Now, is that warranted? Is that true? You know, we're looking at Vanessa Demopoulos. This girl's got a lot of good MMA experience. She's coming off a very nice win against Emily Ducote, where, you know, it was kind of close, but Vanessa Demopoulos, man, the octagon name, Lil Monster. She is a little monster. She can, you know, show that in the octagon. You know, very aggressive. And she did show it against Emily Ducote. Ducote more technical. You know, Ducote was finding some nice moments in the octagon. But Lil Monster, Vanessa Demopoulos, you know, she's got some power. She's got some energy. Now, Jaqueline Amorim, I did take as a nice underdog against Corey McKenna. And the reason that's why I've done that, as we know, Jaqueline Amorim, she's a high-level BJJ player, high-level jiu-jitsu. And we also know that Corey McKenna wants to grapple, wants to play that jiu-jitsu game. So with that matchup there, if Corey McKenna wanted to grapple with Jaqueline Amorim, which she did, it wasn't going to be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? But with this fight here, with Vanessa Demopoulos, this is a new fight. This is an interesting fight. If we was to play MMA math, then the math says Jaqueline Amorim wins. Because McKenna beat Vanessa and Amorim beat McKenna, so Amorim beats Vanessa. But that's, you know, that's MMA math. It doesn't work like that. It's never worked like that. Styles make fights. That's how it works. And with Vanessa Demopoulos, she does have more experience, more mixed martial arts experience than Jaqueline Amorim. Is she a better jiu-jitsu player? Does she have better grappling? No. And if Jaqueline Amorim can make it more about jiu-jitsu, more about grappling, then she can win the fight. But if this fight stays on the feet, if we get some kickboxing and some grappling, which is mixed martial arts, then in that case here, I'm seeing a potential win for the big underdog, Vanessa Demopoulos. Guys, the betting line, explain it. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. And it's also, you know, women's mixed martial arts. As we know with women's mixed martial arts, you take the underdog. Or at least when it makes sense. In this case here, it makes sense. What is Jaqueline Amorim going to do on the feet against Vanessa? Is she going to outbox her? Probably not. Is she going to, you know, show to have better cardio? Probably not. You know, thinking back to when Amorim fought Sam Hughes. Round 1 was great. Round 1 was so good. But Sam Hughes, you know, a good pace and pressure, stays in your face, round in, round out. She broke Jaqueline Amorim. Can Vanessa, the little monster, break Amorim? I think she can. Give me Vanessa. Now moving into a matchup between Gabriel Santos taking on Yi Zha. I might have butchered that. I usually do when it comes to Chinese fighters' names. But yeah, Gabriel Santos taking on Yi Zha. And guys, I'm going to start with a statement. And my statement is this. Gabriel Santos is 0-2 in UFC. Probably shouldn't be 0-2. That's my first statement. And the reason that's why I believe that, if you look at Gabriel Santos in his UFC debut, he put on a phenomenal performance. Maybe not phenomenal, but it was close against Lerone Murphy, right? I had a bet on Lerone Murphy. And in that fight, watching that fight, you know, that was close. That was real close. I was so impressed with Gabriel Santos, you know, the stand-up. It looked so good. And when that fight went to the scorecards, I thought Gabriel Santos won that fight. I really did. You know, the stand-up just looked good. But then you look at him against David Onama, and, you know, it looked okay until he gets sent to the King of Shadow City, Ben Askren. So yeah, man, 0-2 in UFC for Gabriel Santos, but I don't think he's as bad as that 0-2 indicates. You know, he should show that, look, I'm good enough to win. He hasn't won yet. He got badly knocked out by Onama. Against Lerone Murphy, it was competitive. It was close, you know, a very decent fight. But against Yi Zha, he's against a Chinese wrestler. So avoiding the mat, just being able to strike with the opponent, you know, staying in that realm, staying in the realm of kickboxing. That's going to be a key thing for Gabriel Santos if he's going to find his first win in the UFC. So guys, I'm going to side with Gabriel Santos. Like I mentioned, he's 0-2 in the UFC, but I do believe he's better than his record indicates. And hopefully here, he does prove that. You know, stay off the fence, stay off the mat, and strike with the Chinese wrestler. Give me Gabriel Santos. Now moving into a matchup between Andrade Lima taking on Felipe dos Santos. This one's a banger, a real banger. Now guys, Andrade Lima, this guy's so impressive. So impressive. You look at the Contender Series fight, you know, just domination from start to finish on the Contender, real domination. Then you're looking at his fight against Igor Severino. And, you know, some people may say, well, Severino, he was winning that fight. Then he turns into a vampire and tries to bite Andrade Lima. No, not tries to bite, does bite Andrade Lima. And yeah, that was just crazy. That was so crazy. I've never seen anything like that. I don't think we're going to see anything like that again. Igor Severino, you're done. You're done. Then you're looking at his fight against Mitch Raposo. And somehow, just somehow, that's a split. How? You know, domination. Again, Andrade Lima with the low kick, with the Muay Thai, the kicking skill set. It's just so good. So good. And he'll step in with the elbows. But guys, then you're looking at Felipe dos Santos with his UFC debut against Manel Kopp. That fight was so fun. So fun. You know, I was watching that fight thinking, this is going to be a very, very easy performance. A very one-sided fight for Manel Kopp. And it was far from the truth. So far from the truth. That fight was close. Or maybe not close. It was fun. You know, you're watching it thinking, why is Manel Kopp not dominating? Why is this fight, you know, more like a barn burner? And that's because Felipe dos Santos, this guy's good, man. He's good to go. His striking is okay. But then you're looking at him against Victor Altamirano. And I put money on Felipe dos Santos, just based on his UFC debut. You know, lost to Manel Kopp. But then I thought, you know what? You're putting him in there against Victor Altamirano. And Altamirano, not that good. But then I watched that fight and it's like, why is this close? Why is this a close fight? You know, you debut against someone like Manel Kopp, someone that's so experienced, someone that has, you know, very decent striking like Manel Kopp. And then you're fighting Victor Altamirano, someone that's not so experienced, someone that doesn't have amazing striking, and the fight ends up being close. So that was kind of strange. Now you're putting Felipe dos Santos into a fight with Andrade Lima. And Andrade Lima's more, you know, towards Manel Kopp than Victor Altamirano. So if Felipe dos Santos goes in there and finds a win, you know, finds a way to beat Andrade Lima, I'd be impressed. I'd be so impressed. Because the skill set of Andrade Lima, the Muay Thai, the kicks, you know, that's the biggest challenge for Felipe dos Santos. Can Felipe dos Santos find the home for the hands? Probably not. So guys, I'm going to side with Andrade Lima. I believe his current ability is better than Felipe dos Santos. And I also believe he's got the potential to be a real star. Maybe not a star, but, you know, the guy's 9-0. 9 fights, 9 wins. And it's looking good. It's looking good. So yeah, give me Andrade Lima. Now guys, moving into a matchup between Isaac Dulgarian taking on Brendon Marotte. And guys, one of my very, very good friends, he's from Boston. Anytime I break down a fight where someone's from the cartel, I've got to be careful with what I say. I've got to be careful. Because if I'm too harsh with Brendon Marotte, then I know my good friend from Boston, Els, yeah? I know he's going to say something, but listen, Els. Brendon Marotte, man, he's getting dusted badly. This is a mismatch. It's a mismatch. And if Brendon Marotte can show me different, then fair play. Fair play. But he's not gonna. Isaac Dulgarian, man, this guy's a beast of a wrestler. This guy's gonna, you know, get Brendon Marotte to the mat. And it's done. You know, gets him to the mat. He's gonna smash him. He's gonna dust him. So yeah, the breakdown started by me saying I'm not gonna be harsh on Brendon Marotte because he's from Boston. And my boy's from Boston. But yeah, man, it's a one-sided fight. The betting line shows us that. Isaac Dulgarian gets Brendon Marotte to the mat. Once he gets him to the mat, it's game over. So give me Isaac Dulgarian round 1, potentially round 2. Now moving into a matchup between OSP taking on Ryan Spann. And guys, come on now. If Ryan Spann doesn't beat OSP, if he doesn't go in there and completely dust OSP, if he doesn't do that, then, you know, what are we going to say? What are we going to say for Ryan Spann at this point? We already know that Ryan Spann, he's a glass cannon. You know, doesn't get a stoppage in round 1, quits, gets dusted. We know that's the case for Ryan Spann. That's always been the case for Ryan Spann. But if that's the same thing, if that's the same situation, against OSP. Hey man, come on. Hey, come on now. Now guys, if we're making a prediction based on experience, then we're going to pick OSP. If we're making a prediction based on who's more credible, who's done more in their career, then maybe OSP. But I'm not going to make a pick based on who's more credible, who's more experienced. I'm going to make a pick based on who really should just win. Who really should just win. Ryan Spann is like young 30s. And OSP, he's in his 40s. So, come on, man. Ryan Spann should go in there, touch his chin in round 1, and that's fight done. That's what Ryan Spann should do. And guys, I'm going to give you a nice example of what it looks like when you've got a perfect game plan against someone like OSP. When you have a perfect game plan against OSP, it looks like the fight against Felipe Lins. You know how Felipe Lins just goes in there and acts like he's fighting a complete dosser, essentially. You know, just bum rushes him, just runs at OSP and just knocks him out, finishes the fight in under a minute. That's how it looks like when you're supposed to fight OSP, because OSP is very old. He's so old. So why are we getting in there like Kennedy and Zetchakru? Why are we getting in there and sparring? We're not doing that with your Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann doesn't do that in round 1. At least when Ryan Spann loses, he actually goes for the kill in round 1. So guys, Ryan Spann, as we know, as I mentioned, he's a glass cannon. You know, round 1, if there's no stoppage in round 1, he's going to quit. But against OSP, man, against someone that's so old, it cannot be the case. If you're Ryan Spann, you must win this fight. You must go into this fight and destroy the opponent. Dust the opponent. You have to do that. And I will pick that. I will pick that. Give me Ryan Spann, round 1. Now moving into a matchup between Rong taking on Chris Padilla. And Chris Padilla in his UFC debut, it was a nice win. A very decent win against James Yontop. An upset win. An underdog win. And that fight, you know, it stayed on the feet for the most part. There was some nice striking in that fight. But the moment Chris Padilla finds the back, the moment Chris Padilla gets the opponent to the mat, he finds the back and he finds the win. Now, can Chris Padilla do something similar against Rong? You know, Rong, he's got good experience, good kickboxing on the feet, but he doesn't have good grappling. His wrestling is, you know, it's kind of amateur. Or maybe that's harsh, but it looks that way. You know what I'm saying? So, can Chris Padilla find the weakness of Rong, which is also a strength of Chris Padilla? You know, take the opponent to the mat. Find the back of Rong, similar to James Yontop. You know, find that path to victory. Can Chris Padilla do that? But can Rong stay on the feet? Can he show Chris Padilla, look, I've fought my way back to the UFC. You're not going to just, you know, get me to the mat, take my back, and, you know, win the fight. You're not going to do that. I'm going to stay on the feet, show my boxing, show my striking, and win the fight. Either of these fighters can win. It can be Rong with a striking masterclass, or it can be Chris Padilla getting boxed up on the feet, similar to his UFC debut, and then he just finds the back. And once he finds the back, it's, you know, tacos all night. You know what I'm saying? Guys, give me the underdog. Give me the underdog, Chris Padilla. Now guys, moving into a matchup between Trevor Peek taking on Yanal Ashmouz. And this one's going to be a good fight, a very interesting fight. With Trevor Peek, as we know, Trevor Peek, he's an absolute dog. The guy's a dog, right? We can speak about, you know, defensively, he's not good. Defensively, he's a punch bag. You know, he can't move out the way of the strikes. And that's a massive problem. In the game of combat, in the game of, you know, I'm going to cause damage. I'm going to try to make my opponent quit. In that type of game, if you're defensively bad, that's a real problem. And that is the case with Trevor Peek. You know, the guy's a madman. He's a crazy man. But guys, there's times where, you know, that style, it does work. Against some opponents, it does work. You know, you can be defensively bad. You can have bad striking defense. But the fact you're such a dog, the fact you're going to, you know, just continue to walk forward and force your opponent into a dogfight, force your opponent to really fight, that style does work. Now, does it work against Yanal Ashmouz? Well, Yanal Ashmouz broke his hand in the first, 20 seconds against Chris Duncan. So that kind of tells you, look, if he's going to break his hand in the first minute against Duncan, and Duncan is he's a Scottish dog. He's kind of similar to Trevor Peek. Maybe not, you know, in terms of defense, but Chris Duncan, that guy's a dog. You know what I'm saying? Now, against Trevor Peak, be ready to break more bones. Be ready for more injuries. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you got to prepare for. You're not preparing for a technical fight. You're not preparing for a chess match. You know? This is a real fight. This is a bar fight, a dog fight. And when you get into a dog fight against someone like Trevor Peak, you've kind of got to be, ready to deal damage. You got to be ready to kind of embrace that type of chaos. Because if you're not ready for that fight, Trevor Peak's going to be the one that's causing more damage, enjoying the chaos, and we're going to see that in the fight. And I do believe that could potentially be the case. I do think Trevor Peak could potentially break Yanal Ashmouz. Give me Trevor Peak. Moving into a matchup between Matt Schnell taking on Cody Durden. And guys, here's the thing. Matt Schnell, a lot of experience. You know, the hand speed, the boxing speed of Matt Schnell, it's there to see. The guy's super quick. You know what I'm saying? The hand speed, it's there to see. But then you're looking at his chin. Then you're looking at his, his dusty chin. And that's also there to see. So there's positives, yes, to Matt Schnell. And there's also negatives, just like, any fighter. Now with Cody Durden, let's speak about the positives. His wrestling, his ability to wrestle the opponent. It's always been there. It's always been there. He's always been a very decent wrestler. Cody Durden has shown that time and time again. Now, the weaknesses for Cody Durden, I mentioned on his last fight that, there's going to be times against Bruno Silva where you're winning the fight, you're wrestling the opponent, you're winning the fight, but then there's going to be times where Bruno Silva breaks away from the wrestling, and in that exact moment where Bruno Silva breaks away from the grappling, breaks away from the mat, that's where Cody Durden had to show, look, I'm the one who's in control of the fight, and I want to stay in control, but that's not what happened. He was winning the fight, he was looking great against Bruno Silva, he was dominating that fight, but then Bruno Silva has one moment, and one moment is all you need. In a game of chess, guys, I bring chess into the breakdowns often. And in chess, you could be dominating. You could be having a really good game. But then, out of nowhere, you look at the board and you say, oh God, I'm about to be checkmated. This is very bad. And the game can be done. The game can be done. You're 20 moves in. You're 40 moves in. You're looking great. And then you're seeing, oh God, I've missed it. I've missed everything. I'm about to be checkmated. That's what happened to Cody Durden. It was so good until it wasn't. But guys, what I do like in this situation here is Cody Durden, he's taken his fight on short notice. There's no expectations. And, you've got no pressure. There's no pressure on your shoulders with this fight. You're turning up. You're getting paid. There's no expectations. There's no preparation. You're not supposed to win. But I think he does win. I think Cody Durden wins. I think he wrestles the opponent. And there might be times where, Matt Schnell has his moments with the hands, But Cody Durden, I like this one. I like it. Give me Durden. Give me the wrestler. Now moving into a matchup between Kyle Nelson taking on Steve Garcia. And this one's going to be very interesting. Very fun. And the reason as to why that is, when you look at Kyle Nelson, this guy's throwing bombs. He's throwing big bombs. Then you look at Steve Garcia, the mean machine, and he's also throwing big bombs. And when you've got two guys that want to do that, and you put them in the same cage, you get a good fight. You get a good knockout. Most of the time you do get that. There is sometimes where both of them kind of stare at each other and nothing happens, right? That does happen sometimes. But with Kyle Nelson and Steve Garcia, we know with Steve Garcia, it doesn't matter who you are, he's going to throw bombs. And so is Kyle Nelson. So they're going to do that. But who wins? Who wins the fight? I mean, they've both got 16 wins. They've both got 5 losses. This is a real mirror match. A real mirror match. Kyle Nelson's got beautiful low kicks. He's got powerful calf kicks. And Kyle Nelson is, maybe someone that I've maybe not given as much respect to that I probably should have. Kind of sleep on Kyle Nelson. Kind of underestimate Kyle Nelson. But he's been looking good. Against Bill Algeo, he finds the chin. He just finds his chin. Now, if he finds the chin of Steve Garcia, it could be a very good thing. Because Steve Garcia gets very reckless. But also in that recklessness is danger. And that's why it's fun to watch Steve Garcia. It's a double-edged sword, The recklessness, yes, I'm leaving myself open. I'm throwing big, wide, looping shots. And that leaves me open. But against someone like Kyle Nelson, does Kyle Nelson really counter? Does he find a slick counter? Or does Carl Nelson just say, look, you're going to throw bombs, I'm going to throw bombs, who's going to connect first? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those. Who's going to find the chin first? Is it going to be Steve Garcia or is it going to be Carl Nelson? It's a good fight. Give me the mean machine. Give me Steve Garcia. Now, guys, moving into the co-main event, we've got the former champion, Jessica Andrade, taking on a potential future champion in Natalia Silva. And, guys, I want to tell you what makes Natalia Silva so special, right? It's not only the speed. It's not only the accuracy of the technique. It's not only the perfect technique that she uses. But when you combine all those things together, guys, when you combine speed, accuracy, and technique, what happens when you combine those things together? You get power. You get real power. When you can find the target in lightning speed and the location of the target, the specific location, right? The liver, the calf, the inside calf, the skull, the chin. When you can find the right location and you do it with speed and the technique is perfect or near perfect, when you put those things together, you've got power. You've got severe danger. You've got a phenomenal striker. That's what you've got. And that's what you see with Natalia Silva. We've seen that time and time again. Even thinking back to when she fought Victoria Leonardo. That's like one of the first times that we see it. The speed of the kicks. The speed. The power that's generated. And it's because of the, the accuracy, the technique, and the speed. It creates the power. So guys, yeah, beautiful taekwondo. Beautiful, beautiful kicks from Natalia Silva. And that's why she's undefeated. That's why she's looking so good fight to fight. She's a real problem. Now, the former champion, Jessica Andrade, is also a problem. Absolutely. The boxing speed, the boxing experience even of Jessica Andrade, it's there to see. Fight in, fight out, it's there to see. But can Jessica Andrade go in there and essentially beat Natalia Silva at her own game? Can she go in there, find the boxing, find the target, get into the pocket against Natalia Silva? Can she do that? I don't think so. Guys, I don't think so. Maybe in round 1, maybe a little bit in round 2, but for the most part, Natalia Silva, she's so good with her range. She's so good with her kicks. The speed, the management of what's happening on the feet. Put it this way, guys. Natalia Silva, she's the manager. She's the manager. She's in control of the stand-up. But yeah, guys, the reason why this one's such a good fight, the reason why the co-main event can't be missed, or at least for some people, there's people that don't know too much about Natalia Silva. They know who Jessica Andrade is, former champion. They know who she is. But when it comes to Natalia Silva, her name isn't as big, or at least not yet. But after this fight against Jessica Andrade, against the former champion, Natalia Silva's going to show people, look, my stand-up, my speed, my kicks, the accuracy. She's going to show people. And yeah, that's my pick. I'm going to take Natalia Silva to essentially beat Jessica Andrade at her own game. Now, guys, moving into the main event and a phenomenal main event, we've got Sean Brady taking on Gilbert Burns. And guys, this one's going to be very similar in styles. If you look at Gilbert Burns, a black belt in BJJ, his jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Then you're looking at Sean Brady with the same skill set. He's also a black belt on the mat. So you're looking at, two grapplers in the main event. Who's the better grappler? In my opinion, it's going to be Gilbert Burns. But because Sean Brady is so good on the mat, we've still got to look at the stand-up. We've still got to look at the experience. We've still got to look at the cardio. We've still got to look at the durability, the toughness, the heart and will. There's many things that we've still got to assess in the main event, not just the grappling. Yes, in my opinion, Gilbert Burns is the better grappler, but there's so many things we've got to look at. Now, on the feet, they're both using Muay Thai. They're both using Muay Thai on the feet, and they're both black belts. So again, we're finding similarities in the main event. We're finding similar styles. We're finding a near mirror match. But where there's a difference is going to be in the experience. Gilbert Burns has fought absolute killers. He's fought for a title. He's so experienced. Whereas Sean Brady, he's not on the same level as experience. Then you're also looking at the toughness of Gilbert Burns. The guy is so tough. He is so tough. And then you're looking at Sean Brady, and it's like, you know, Belal Muhammad kind of broke you. But now Belal Muhammad is champion, and Belal Muhammad has always had a good pressure and pace. That loss, you know, it's not too bad. But it does kind of show, you know, you can break Sean Brady. You've got to bring adversity to Sean Brady. And looking at Gilbert Durinho Burns against Belal Muhammad, that was over 25 minutes. And Gilbert Burns doesn't quit. So, in my opinion, guys, yes, it's a similar style fight, but there's differences. There's differences with experience and also toughness. So those things I do give to Gilbert Durinho Burns. And he's an underdog. So that kind of makes me, you know, it makes me lean towards Gilbert Durinho Burns. And that's the pick. So guys, for me personally in the main event, I am going to side with Gilbert Durinho Burns. I understand that he is an underdog. I understand he is getting older. And I understand that JDM completely dusted Gilbert Durinho Burns right at the end of that fight. But guys, Gilbert Durinho Burns was going to win that fight. If that knee doesn't land right at the end, I think Burns wins that fight. So his level is still good. His level is still very good. And I think against someone like Sean Brady, someone that has a similar skill set in terms of jiu-jitsu, against someone like that, give me the underdog. Give me Gilbert Durinho Burns. That's the play. That's the pick. Let me know you're taking in the main event, the co-main event, your straight bets, your parlays, your Money City bets, all that good stuff. Drop in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Peace.